Cleveland pride. Who's talking baseball? We're talking Guards. Who's talking baseball? We're talking Guards. Nobody plays harder than the Guards. We've got the players, these guys are really high. We've got a future, we're headed to the top. We're on the warpath, it's spreading far and wide. We're talking baseball, we're talking Guards. We're talking baseball, we're talking Guards.
Hell yeah.
Nobody plays harder than the Guards, do they, guys?
Absolutely not. You heard it here first.
That's right. Special shout out to Brandon Zano of It's Me or Him. Did a special remake there of We're Talking Baseball featuring the Guards there, man. Thank you very much for doing
Absolutely,
that.
Brandon.
Welcome,
Thank you,
guys,
Brandon.
to Guardsmania. We are fresh off of a 5-2 win here. The Guardians beating the Twins. And here we are, man. The Guardians are back in first place. It's something that we've been very grateful and, very lucky to say here for most of the year here. The Guardians have been really rocking it this year. They have been, I'd say, pretty lucky to be in the position that they're in right now, especially when you look at the lineup that they've had and really the injuries that they've had for most of the year. They're really lucky to be in this position. But once again, it's the starting pitching. And the starting pitching hasn't really come from where you thought it was going to be. We're almost at the All-Star break, and the All-Star in this pitching staff, it's not Gavin Williams.
Nope.
It's not Tanner Bybee.
Not Tanner.
Not Tanner. It's Parker Messick.
The rookie.
The rookie, the left-hander, the guy that almost had a perfect game this year for the Guardians. And here we are. Parker Messick is your all-star out of the pitching staff. It wasn't who you thought it was going to be, but once again, you've got an all-star coming from your pitching staff. You've got some offensive all-stars too. And, at the beginning of the year, Travis Bazzana wasn't even on this roster. And he's your all-star.
Pretty impressive. Very impressive. And I believe it was largely in part to other players, right? I believe the other players voted him.
For sure. So, so the reserves, those are, I think, aren't those by the coaching staff, correct?
That I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with the all-star procedures. I should be.
So those are picked by the coaching staff. If it's still like it used to be. And if it's not, let us know in the comments if, we are not correct on that. But, Travis Bazzana is having a heck of a year there at second base. So we've got a couple rookies there in the All-Star game. And then Cade Smith, who, we were given a lot of grief to in April. He was having a rough April. Yeah. And he's your other all-star.
He's turned it around. He leads the league, I believe, in saves this time. He's just been dominant, missing, leaving off right where Class A was. He just took the ball, and I think and solidified himself as the dominant closer in this league, which is great. Yeah. Which such a blessing to have. I mean, because the Class A thing could have set us back a long time. I mean, I'm sure it set us back a little, but it could have set us back a lot more.
And it seemed almost, last year was almost, it seemed like it was the turning point last year. It's what, sparked the team, and they have just been kind of hot ever since. They finished the year last year hot, and this year, they have let the White Sox catch up, and the White Sox have taken first place here and there. But for the most part, I mean, the Guardians, we're going on almost a year here since the Class A and Ortiz situation. And I mean, the Guardians have been pretty much white hot ever since. And Cade Smith has been the closer. We've given him a little bit of grief here, especially at the beginning of the season. But I mean, when a guy does the job that he's been doing, you got to recognize him for that job.
Yeah, he's striking out a ton of guys. I think he's second on the team behind Zabrowski in strikeouts per 9 innings. I think Zabrowski's like at 15 per 9 innings. But June definitely wasn't kind to the Tribe. Wasn't last year either. But it's over now, and July's here. We got 3 more games. Miami, then the All-Star break. So they get a little rest for a few days and hopefully recharge some batteries.
For sure. I always hate anytime we play the Marlins. Anytime we play the Marlins, I get flashbacks of 97. I don't
Okay,
care
that's-
that they're not the Florida Marlins anymore. The uniforms are different. They're even in a different stadium. I just I just get flashbacks of that still. It's like the Marlins and the Braves. I get flashbacks. Even if we play the Cubs, I don't even think of when we played the Cubs, I don't think of 2016. For some reason, I don't have the emotional attachment to that 2016 team that I did the 95 and the 97 team. But when we play the Braves and we play the Marlins, I still get brought back to those series, and it hurts playing them. So, it's the Florida Marlins. It's 2026. I need a sweep.
Yeah, they're hot. They are hot. They've been a surprise. If I'm not mistaken. 51-42.
Yeah, and they can't.
So-
They are a surprise every now and again.
Yep.
Yeah, a clock
But
is
that-
right, twice a day, and the Marlins. They're a team that should be better more often than they are. Because
Absolutely.
they're picking at the top of the draft all the time. Anytime that they do have any sort of star player, they trade them for prospects.
Right.
So they really are a team they're always picking from the top of the talent pool. So they, the Marlins should be good a lot more than they are,
And I
which
think
really
that's
talks to how good the Guardians as an organization have been. As much as guys like me come on here and we complain about the lack of spending, I mean, look at where they are always picking in the draft.
and look what spending has been getting some of these teams.
Oh,
Not
for
much
sure.
in return. And we can't afford a loss like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The Guardians have just been. It really is just an ode to them. What a good organization they've been over the years. And they've had so many quality people, come through the organization. Speaking of which, I do definitely want to give our condolences to the Reagan family, former pitching coach for the Cleveland Indians from that era. Phil Regan passed away this past week. It seems like a lot of his former players had a lot of nice, kind things to post about him on social media. And, he was one of the first pitching coaches that I remember like being a big deal.
Mhm.
I think he went on to coach maybe the Orioles after he was a pitching coach here. Him and Mark Wiley were kind of like the first pitching coaches that I really remember.
Knew by name.
Yeah, you remember knowing by name.
Yeah.
And so, condolences out to, Phil Regan's family.
Yes.
But, he was really kind of the beginning of, I know the 90s weren't necessarily known for the pitching and the pitching revolution here in Cleveland. But I mean, the 90s at the end there, they did have some really good pitching. I mean, that's really when it began. Bartolo Colon and CC Sabathia, they were drafted in the 90s. Jared Wright drafted in the 90s and developed in the 90s. Those guys and Bartolo Colon, he's very much a part of not only the pitching legacy here in Cleveland, but the move that they made with Montreal to get Grady Sizemore, Brandon Phillips, over here, Cliffley. I mean, that's the beginning of all of this.
Yeah.
So
it really is.
And Phil Regan has something to do with the development of all that. So, condolences out to your family, man.
Absolutely.
So checking out the standings here, the Cleveland Guardians, we are tied with the Chicago White Sox. So we are one up in the win column, one down in the loss column. But it puts us tied here in the standings. So like I said, we've allowed the White Sox to get into it, and they are a good young team. And they're a team too that has been picking at the top of the draft for a while now. So as much as we say they're a surprise,
they're there. They're always there. Would you mind putting the standings back up for 1 second? There was a couple of things I wanted to.
Yeah, go right ahead.
About this division, you say no. We've let the White Sox in. Absolutely. We've also let the Twins in. Let's be
Mhm.
honest. They're right there on the door. And I'm not letting them in. They've been playing good ball. 7 out of their last 10. And if you look behind them, Detroit's 42-50 now. They're only 4 games out of first. 4 or wild card for the wild card. 5 games out of first. 7-3 in their last 10. 4 wins in a row. And they have the positive run differential, which to me is always makes a big deal.
For sure.
I know. I mean, you know, the Pythagorean record, but you should score more than your opponent if you're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me believe that they're a little more dangerous, and they're not dead yet. That this could be a 4-horse race coming down the end in the Central Division. It could be
Absolutely.
anybody's division except for maybe even KC. Who knows?
I mean, the way it goes here in the AL Central, you never really know.
No.
Detroit, people thought Detroit was out of it. You had a lot of injuries over there, especially that injury to Skubal.
Mm-hmm.
But look at him now. Skubal's back.
They weathered it.
And, the Guardians, we had the opportunity to put the division away here, and we haven't. We're only what? One. I don't have glasses here. I'm an old man, but are we 1 game, 2 games above 500 here?
2, 48 and 46.
2 games above 500. I mean, that's not putting anybody away.
No.
And part of it has been the injuries on our end here as well.
We've had plenty of challenges this season, yeah.
For sure. Everybody's had injuries. And the Guardians are not in a position. The Guardians don't have the depth to put somebody away when they have those injuries, which brings us up to, we're coming into the All-Star game. After the All-Star game is the trading deadline. There's going to be some moves made.
Mm-hmm.
The Guardians, they're definitely in a position to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's available out there? As time is going on, there's teams that are going to be making decisions now as to whether they're going to be buyers or sellers. And here in the AL, you definitely got some teams that are sellers that have some talent on their team.
Mm-hmm.
The Los Angeles Angels are definitely going to be sellers.
Yes, I would say so. Kansas City too. Kansas City is the one I'm looking at. And I don't know if you saw the story I posted, and I know it's not the most shocking romantic move, but Lane Thomas is sitting there. He's familiar with the team. I think he would be an upgrade to Quan. He would be very cheap. I think.
You've already ridden that ride though, the Lane Thomas ride.
You have, but what's to say is he doesn't get hot. I mean, like I said, he was been hot in his last 5 games. I put up his stats. I can't remember what they were. He's batting like 444 his last 5 games. I know it's a smaller sample size, but it's a small risk, I think. When you already know what you got in Quan and he's not putting up the OPS, if you want to bat, he can get hot. But but I understand, you might not want to go down that road again.
He can, but that's not, I don't think that's a move that you make. That's not the type of impact that you need if you're the Guardians.
I just don't know that they're going to make a big move. I don't know if there's that big one for them to make. I don't even know if it's the right time for them to make it, to be honest with you.
I think it is the time. You're battling out for first place.
Mm-hmm.
There's teams like the Red Sox who are out of it. The Orioles are out of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of there's quite a bit of room, especially in the AL East, between the Rays and the Yankees and everybody else.
Yeah.
The Jays spent a lot of money on guys.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of money in that offense over there. And you need offense.
And that's a big reason, right? That I don't mind that we don't spend big and miss, because it would just cripple us.
For sure, but you don't necessarily have to. I'm not asking you to go out into the free agent market right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you can now be in the middle of a season, see who's performing and who's not, and go out and get those guys to help you.
Oh, you know who I heard is available?
Who's that?
Mr. Will Benson. But we already went down that road before too.
Yeah, we sure did. And he's not available by trade. He was DFA'd.
Right. Well, we could have picked him up, but that means we have to keep him on the roster.
We have to keep him on the roster, and it would be another left-handed bat. And that's not necessarily what we're looking for. We need
He's available. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, we don't need Will Benson again.
No.
You know, we need a power bat. And if it's going to be left-handed, it's got to be a real impact. It's got to be a real impact bat. And Will Benson is just not that guy.
No. I mean, he got cut by the Reds. So, yeah.
And the Reds are out of it.
Yep.
You know, but there are some guys available, and I'm going to go back to there's a deal with the Red Sox that I love.
Mm-hmm. I know,
there's a couple guys on the Red Sox that I think could be had.
Yep, you've been saying the stoutness. Yeah,
Duran's available over there. Chapman's available over there. There's a few guys available over on that Red Sox roster.
I mean, Boston's only 6 games under 500. They're really not out of it, but like realistically, do they see themselves competing at this point? Do they have the confidence as a team?
Well, I mean, they're definitely out of it.
6
they're
in a row.
12 games out of first place.
11 games. They're
11 games out. They're out of it.
They're 8-2 in their last 10, won 6 in a row, and once again, they have a positive run differential.
But they're 12 games out of it. They're done. So they're not 12 games out as the second or they have like 3-4 teams to climb.
Yeah. Well, if the Babylonians were still around, the Red Sox would be 47-43. And the Detroit Tigers would be leading the AL Central.
I don't know what that means, but
the Babylonians, they were the ones that used the Pythagorean theorem, I believe, one of the first ones to use it.
Okay. Well, they're not here anymore.
No.
You made a good joke over my head, buddy.
No, right. It's gonna hit somewhere. Somewhere it's gonna land.
It is. Way somebody in the comments, let us know if you got it, if you liked it. But there's just Eric.
Mm-hmm.
There's a deal out there for the Guardians, and it doesn't have to be Ryan Ludwig.
But Jarren Duran's batting 199. 199.
But how many home runs does he have?
13. Pardon me. 13. He would be leading the Guardians. Yeah. So if you want to power bat, 622, OPS plus 76. But his WAR
what's his Pythagorean theorem? What's his A squared plus B squared equals C squared? Is that Pythagorean theorem? Is that the right one?
I don't know. I think so. It's a triangle, I believe. Yeah. A times A squared B, so it wouldn't be squared, but it would be. No, I don't know. There's no Pythagorean, no Babylonian legend about.
So what is what does the Pythagorean theorem even have to do with baseball?
Exactly.
That's what I'd like to know. What does the Pythagorean theorem even have to do with baseball?
I mean, we can look it up real quick.
If you're out there in the comments, tell us what the Pythagorean theorem has to do with baseball.
Yes.
Tell me how you use that to figure out wins.
You're right. You were right too.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared?
Correct. The triangle.
Okay. Yeah. So how do you figure out wins with that? The Pythagorean theorem.
So it's created by Bill James. It's created by Bill James. I might have an answer.
Okay.
It's just a basic mathematical formula. Yeah. Used to identify teams that are overperforming or underperforming and is highly predictive of future performance. Basically, it's winning percentage equals runs scored squared over runs scored squared plus runs allowed squared. So there's your A plus B equals C. But yeah.
So if you're squaring both of them, though, do you need to square any of them? Because then when you're dividing it, it's the same quotient, isn't it?
I knew that this day would come, and I'd have to apologize to my algebra teachers from high school. So, Mrs. Burkhart, I apologize. Still don't know. I was horrible at math. I don't know algebra. I can add and subtract and multiply and divide like a champ. But hey,
well, William James,
my jam.
Bill Jim, if you're out there listening, if you can help us out with that. See, I to me, it just seems, and that's one of the problems I think with some of the analytics not only baseball and some of these other sports, I just feel like they're just taking statistics and just mushing them together in mathematical formulas that like don't mean anything.
Partially no, yeah, partially they're formulas that we've made up to try to measure something that's already, been in place.
Yeah. Well, it's already measured,
Yeah.
like we already measured the record by wins and losses.
Right.
Like we already know what your record is by how many times you've won versus how many times you've lost.
But here's my theory, or my point. When you look at the run differentials, does that change your mind at all about any of the standings? Would it, like, if you didn't see the run differentials and you're like, Detroit's out of it, and you see that they've outscored their opponents by 20, meaning they've been very unlucky, does that predict that they're going to be hot? I mean, that's what it's saying, but it doesn't guarantee it, of course.
No, it says to me that they have blown out some teams.
Yeah, definitely blown out some teams.
When a team that, what it says to me, like, so say for example, like the Guardians, right? What that says to me is you are above 500 with a negative run differential. It says to me that you win close games, and that you've been blown out.
Right.
That your bullpen has blown some games late in games, or your starting pitching has given up something early.
Losing close ones.
You're losing close, whatever. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Okay, like that, and that's what I use the run differential to kind of give me, what the standing, a little bit look behind the standings. So it's not always correct, but
that's still just taking stats that you already have. That's not putting really a new formula on it.
No,
that's not taking the formula for a triangle.
That's right.
Taking,
that's what put me out of the game. I couldn't be a scout if I couldn't figure that out.
It's not taking an algebraic formula for a triangle or a square or something like that and just going, oh, we're going to do runs allowed versus runs against. And then this will, you know what I mean? Right, and this is going to let you know you're winning.
Expected batting average and expected ERA. Those things are just measured up against the average, I believe, in the league, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's the lazy way of charting something.
Yeah.
What you really need to do is
the middle ground. And
what you really need to do is, if you really want to know, you need to chart it. And then you can see, and you know what I mean? Like that's how you know, is that you actually, like, you scout it and you chart it and you put the time in and you do it. Those numbers, like, but I'm sure those numbers can tell you something, but I don't know, man.
Don't we have access to the same numbers the scouts do these days? I mean,
pretty much.
I mean, back in the day, you wouldn't know. I used to get these books from the baseball prospect guide from a guy named John Sickles. He independently wrote this book, and he would travel around, watch all the guys, and write review, write his reviews or whatever. And he's pretty right on. He was pretty right on. And that was before all this, sabermetrics and analytics came into play. He was very impressive. Like, I used to get his prospect book religiously every year. John Sickles. I believe he's still around. I think he works for Baseball Nation.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I gave him a plug. He's not selling a book though.
But and now everything's available. I don't know. Baseball Prospectus is out. There's, everybody has, these different numbers, and it's not just it started in baseball. Now it's in football. It's in all these other sports. And, sometimes if you're somebody who does that other work, those numbers can tell you something.
Yeah.
For you and me, I don't think those numbers really tell you too much. So I always laugh when I hear on sports talk, guys trying to spot out those numbers, because you don't know, expected batting average doesn't mean anything.
Right. Because anything can happen when the ball is in play.
Anything can happen. It can go anywhere. Anything can happen. And and going back to the Pythagorean theorem for wins and losses, there's actually there's a real theorem, and it's wins and losses and real winning percentage. And that's how you figure out who's good and who's bad.
I mean,
your wins and losses are your record,
You could play 7 games, score 6 runs, and give up 20 and still go 6-1.
Yeah.
So technically, yeah.
That's each game is its own monster.
Yeah.
And that's it. So, we look at those standings, and we've joked about the run differentials. We make jokes about them and talk about them, but they don't really mean anything. Just says
in
to me,
the end, no, the wins and losses is all that matters. It's just, to me, it just says, hey, this team might be better than their record says right now. Might
for
be.
sure. For sure.
So,
but I'm not scared of Detroit at this point when you're 10 games back.
We shouldn't be. We should be focused on just ourselves and just ourselves, honestly, right? Not even the White Sox. Just do our thing. White Sox do their own thing. They're coming out party. They're going to be dealing with stuff too. Could be a long end of the summer for them. Who knows?
Yeah. But that's why I want Jordan Alvarez, though.
Yeah. Is he available?
They say he might. I've also been hearing some rumors. When I say hearing rumors, watching YouTube, Francisco Lindor might be available. There's some guys that might be available out in New York for the Mets.
Wow, Lindor.
I don't know that I would necessarily. What's that?
He's awful this year, but he was hurt.
And I don't know that I would want him back here, to be honest.
I wouldn't, honestly.
I think this is, Jose's team. I'd be interested to see, who on that New York team could help us. But there's some guys out there. The Guardians, I think, definitely. This is an opportunity to strike while the iron's hot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping that there's not a work stoppage. As time is going on, you hear people talking about it.
Right. Getting closer and closer.
It's getting closer. You really hope that there isn't. The last work stoppage was 32 years ago. It was rough. It almost killed
sore
the sport.
Spot. Yeah, it's a sore spot for me still.
For sure. It's a sore spot for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people stop watching. Took Cal Ripken and some juiced up home runs to, really bring people back.
Right, to reinvigorate the fan base.
For sure. I don't know that we have that sort of thing to bring baseball back.
Right.
So we really don't need a work stoppage here.
Right.
I really think last time a lot of the people understood where the players were coming from. This time, I don't think people do.
Right.
They see the money that these players are making, and there's just the violins they don't make them that big.
Right.
They don't make them that small either.
Right.
For these players right now from regular day people. And
to realize
with that being said, I think there definitely is going to be a salary cap. The owners are going to make sure of that. And if there is a salary cap, that means there's going to be a salary floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if the players are going to accept it, that means there's going to be a higher salary floor. And if that's the case, the Guardians are going to have to increase their spending. Yeah. So this might be an opportunity to buy low.
Well, I think they give them a 3-year window to fall in place, right? Well, it depends what they work out. But you know what I mean? I believe you wouldn't have to get up to that. You might have to get into a certain percentage of that threshold until it finally comes into, because to me, it just seems weird dumping like $100 million just because we had to spend it in 1 year. Make smart decisions, spend 70 this year or whatever, 10 this year, 20, 30, and then, get multiple pieces.
Or hear me out. Go get Jordan Alvarez and Juan Soto. spend it all,
Soto.
gut your farm system.
What would that take?
What would that take? Right. And then you have Jordan Alvarez hitting 3, Jose hitting 4, and Soto hitting 5.
I like Jose at 2 or 3.
Yeah. Well, I like him in the
That's
middle
a good
because he's a
problem
switch
to
hitter,
have.
you know?
Yeah, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Or maybe Jordan at 2, Jose 3, whatever it is, you're breaking them up. Now we're just talking crazy. But, we need the point here is that the Guardians, I think we're getting to the point where the Guardians need to make a move because the White Sox have caught up. The White Sox are in the middle of a young movement, and they have caught up. And the Guardians, they've got a deep farm system. They're just not deep at the major league level.
Right. Yeah,
so,
and there is a guy from the Mets that from the bullpen that I wouldn't mind them picking up. AJ Minter, 32-year-old left-hander, 17 games this year, 0.53 ERA, 10 hits, 14 strikeouts, 17 innings. I mean,
what about like Xavier Curie or like Freddie Peralta? They're going to need some help. They're going to need some help in the starting staff.
I mean, you could do it. Curry has only pitched 1 inning so far in the majors this year.
Okay. Has he been hurt or did they just...
Let me see if they got any minor stats for him. No, he's been playing. He played in AAA. Yeah, most of his games in AAA. 49 innings in AAA. 4.74 ERA.
I mean, you can use an extra bullpen arm. You can use Freddie Peralta as a pretty good starting arm.
Freddie Peralta. Is he there? Is he in New York? Freddie Peralta?
Who's that? Freddie Peralta?
Yeah.
He sure is.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's shoo. Well, I saw 19 games started leading the league, and I was like, oh, wow. It was only game started. He's all right. Yeah, he could. I mean, his ERA is a little high right now, but you want, like you said, you need depth.
You need depth, and the point too is I think you've got a good coaching staff here, and some of these guys you're going to have to get some change of scenery guys.
Yeah,
you're getting guys off of bad teams, so you're not going to get guys that are having great years, most likely.
Right.
But you're going to get guys with good track records that you need to help turn around. Lane Thomas was one of those guys. However many years ago we tried to get him, or as I like to call him, Ryan Ludwig.
Second coming.
He was years ago. He was that guy when we got him from Washington, and he's not that guy.
Yeah, he only had 1 good year, to be honest with you.
And he can only hit left-handed, and he can only hit left-handed pitching when he. And we need more than that right now.
Yeah,
he's a platoon guy. We already have platoon guys.
But those are the moves that they end up making. It could be somebody. I mean, Jay Bruce worked out for that season.
For the 2 months.
Yeah. It's expensive. That's expensive. That's what I'm saying. It's why you rent one of these marginal guys, like I said, like JJ Bleday. Like he's out there for the Reds. He's having a good year, but he's on a 1-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
Could have signed him at the beginning of the year. But I had no problem with them not signing it. Of course, they had to find out what they have, and they still have to find out what they have because they in the minors because they got some outfield depth there. So,
but you have depth is a funny word.
Yeah,
you have guys out there playing. You don't know really if you have depth or not.
That's true. Your depth could be below league average
for sure, and you're in a pennant race, and although you are a great organization, you cannot take for granted the fact that you have this opportunity every year.
No, you cannot.
Because remember, we lived through the 90s and then the early 2000s when we had a great we're still living. The people that we have in this organization running it are still from that tree. We never left that tree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still those people that were running it in the early 2000s when we were drafting Corey Smith and, those other guys that, gave us a little bit of that downturn. And then, the Manny Acta years.
Oh gosh.
There were some lean years here in Cleveland. Don't
Mm-hmm.
forget.
Nope, there was.
So, and
we've been blessed.
There were some lean years here. So you can't take for granted that you're always going to be in this position. You have to try and win when you can.
And we've been blessed to make the playoffs 7 of the last 10 seasons. I think no one has made it more. I think we're tied with the Dodgers and somebody else. Braves, maybe. But yeah, 7 on 10 years, this team's made the playoffs. That's pretty remarkable. No,
for sure.
Especially when no other team's done it. One more.
So, we are lucky to be here. The Guardians, I would like to see them reward not only us, but themselves.
Take a little pressure off these young guys. I mean, Hoskins is on his way out.
I'm not even talking about not even pressure on the young guys. Reward themselves. Mm-hmm. Get yourselves some reinforcements. Get some guys in here that can help you get a little deeper.
Right, because it's going to be a battle.
For sure. Winning a championship changes the culture of the organization and the city forever. Look at look at what the Cavs are in right now.
And I ask you then, how much are we still riding that 2025 team, last year's team? That team was, so exceeding expectations, so over exceeded, not expectations. Their, like I said, their expectancy. Once again, go back to the expectancy. They were 88 and 74, but to win all those games at the end, that doesn't happen. Like, that wasn't in the theorem.
For sure.
Pythagorean did not foresee that. That's why I love that you play the game.
Yeah.
But how much of that are we still riding? Like, how much of that do you think is, carrying this team?
It's what this team has been.
Yeah.
This team is constantly, they're constantly playing above their heads.
Yeah.
You look at the injuries that they've had and, the situations that they've been in, the idea that they have not skipped a beat.
No, you're right.
Throughout with all of these injuries has been incredible. I don't know how much of a difference a manager in baseball makes. The way a coach in basketball or a head coach in football, because in baseball you're not doing really X's and O's the way that you do in these other sports.
Right.
But Stephen Vogt, I don't know if this is a testament to the systems that they have that they put in place from up top, that like Frank Cohen then put in place,
mm-hmm.
and it's a well-oiled machine, and Vogt just hasn't screwed up the machine, or if like Vogt is that guy. But the way that it's continued to run has just been incredible.
Absolutely.
And
two-time defending manager of the year.
Yeah, and usually I don't buy anything into that.
Yeah,
but he deserved those, man. If you can win manager of the year coaching the Cleveland baseball team, you have definitely earned those.
Yeah. Like, honestly, following 2022 was supposed to be probably a lean stretch for us. And I believe, and when Vogt came, they had pulled off that 92 and 69 season right after they lost, 86 games the season before. And it was like, wow, maybe he's got something. And then last year, we knew they weren't quite as good as the year before even, and they still won the division.
Yeah.
So
is it
Vogt?
They're continuing.
Yeah.
He's been able to really just rally them and, pull them together. And it's been great to see. It's been a lot of fun to watch, as Guardian fans. While we're in here in the middle, just want to give a super big shout out to our sponsors, Dick's House of Sport. We're actually going to be doing we're going to be at Dick's House of Sport live, July 26th, 2:00. So make sure you come out and check us out there. Shout out to Doug White, Allstate Insurance Agency. Give them a call, 440-235-8500 for all your home and auto insurance needs. Rust Belt Automotive, 883-0474. Cleveland Ketchup, use code BEARDED for 10% off. Bearded Bastard Barbecue Sauce, use code BEARDED15 for 15% off. Rest and Renew Counseling, 216-815-1728. Call Jennifer today. Yeah, man, you're probably going to need to talk to somebody after this Brown season and what the Guardians do here at the trade deadline. You might need to talk to somebody. And then, most importantly, we do want to give a big shout out here. Let me pull it up here to Kozar Wellness. Where are we at? Where's the logo? Where's the Kozar Wellness logo? Go to kozarwellness.com.
Let's see. There you go.
There you go. And I got mine right here too.
My Focus. You got Focus too? Yeah.
Focus, yep.
Definitely clears you up. Definitely does its thing.
Sure does. And did you know, I don't know if you knew this, but if you go to Kozar Wellness, right, and you order anything on there, there's actually a code that you can use, and it gets you 10% off anything on there.
Ooh.
Did you know that?
No, and I love savings, and I didn't even know.
Well, I'm going to tell you about it. So if you go on there,
I'd love to hear all about it.
yeah. So if you go on, if you go to Kozar Wellness and you go on there, you're going to go in there. It's going to ask you for a code. It's going to ask you for like a promo code.
Red Right 88.
It's not Red Right 88. What else do you think it could be?
The Fumble. The Drive.
You think we would do it as the Fumble?
No, I'm sorry.
The Drive?
That was stupid. That was stupid. I apologize.
Why would you do? Why?
What? I'm sorry. What would anything would be the? I have no idea. The Draft.
I feel like you should be fired for that.
I'm not on the Brown show.
I know, but like you're still like part of the crew. You're with us.
All right. I sincerely apologize. I'll probably never live that down now. I was trying to be funny and it failed in a major. It was funny.
Way. Go to shopkozar.com, put in your promo code TUSCAB10, TUSCAB10. So that's TUSCAB, TUS, like Tuscaroras, and then AB10, Tuscaroras, TUSCAB10, TUSCAB10, and you get 10% off. And that supports both Tuscaroras Bearded Browns, Tuscaroras Browns backers and the Bearded Browns. Definitely helps us out and helps out, man. And this stuff really does work.
Mm-hmm.
Helps you with the drive.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you not fumble. Oh, Eric.
Not
Red Right 88.
It'll wake you out of a concussion.
It will, man. It is kind of like smelling salts.
But aromatherapy. All
it is
natural
aromatherapy.
Essential oils.
My wife has one for slumber.
Uh-huh.
Makes her sleepy.
I have the calm one too. I got to focus in the calm. Absolutely, man. You should see me raging, and I just take one like.
And I use this one too. I can't ever say it correctly, so I'm going to mess it up. It's focal cuticle right here. Check this out as well. I use this while I'm working. They're like caffeine pill type things. They're great, man. Kozar, Shop Kozar. Shop Kozar is TUSCAB 10. Gets you 10% off. Lots of cool stuff there. Back to the Guardians. You know what I love? Do you know what I love?
I know a few things you love, but I don't know if I'm going to say them just in case it's not the ones you're thinking of.
I love our intro. Can I play it again one more time?
Please.
You guys, I want you to. So this song was redone by Brandon Zano of It's Me or Him. You guys, I just want to play this for you just because this is awesome. You guys, if you remember the It's Talking Baseball song. Okay, so we redid it for the Guards. You ready?
Who keeps us cheering year after year? Who's got the ballpark? That's so Who's got the fans with so much Cleveland pride? Who's talking baseball? We're talking Guards. We're talking baseball. We're talking guards. Nobody plays harder than the guards. We've got the players. These guys are really hot. We've got a future. We're headed to the top. We're on the warpath. It's spreading far and wide. We're talking baseball. We're talking guards. We're talking baseball. We're talking guards.
Dude, I love
it.
that song so much.
You don't know how many times I've listened to it already.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you. 'Cause it's
How many
embarrassing.
times?
I'm not going to tell you. It's embarrassing. I can't even count. Yeah. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon. It is awesome. So before we go, let's get in. So we have the draft coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
And you did a little homework here.
Yes. Guardians are sitting at 19 in the first round. They had 29, but they traded that for Patrick Bailey. So we are at 19 and 59. So if you look around, this is the rankings. The drafts are a little bit different. The mock drafts might be a little bit different than this. I honestly kind of think Von Lackey is going to go first. I think that Chicago is going to surprise people and not take Chalowski. It could be really any of those top 4 guys in the number 1 spot. Because I'm going to go Von Lackey. I think Chicago takes the catcher. They got plenty of infielders right now, and he could be there in no time as a college catcher. Who knows? Trevor Condon is another name that could slide down to 19, and you liked his brother, didn't you?
Say that again.
Carlos Condon, you liked his brother, right?
Oh, I
Trevor
sure did.
Condon.
Yeah.
So he's there at 13, but he might slide in some drafts. I've seen him down there still at 19. So I wouldn't mind taking a snag at him. You can look at the next list. And Hunter Dietz is another name I like. Another arm I like, lefty out of Arkansas, and Liam Peterson from Florida. Another one that I wouldn't mind I'm snagging. Some publications, I believe it's Bleacher Report, has them taking Sawyer Stroh-Snyder, the outfielder from Texas Christian. So that's pretty much, the names here at the top of the draft, and they're in position to get one of these guys, which is nice. And then Landon Tomey is also there. And I've heard rumors, like you've heard rumors, people chatting and BSing that the White Sox are going to take him at 41, that they've already, made a deal and, going to pay him over slot at 41.
I don't like that.
I don't either. I wanted him at 29. Dude, the Hall of Fame legend from your team, you don't take a flyer on his son? You have to.
For sure.
I mean, I'm not telling you to take him with the first pick, but you could have took him with 29, but now they might still get him at 52.
For sure. But he's also a Hall of Famer for the White Sox. And
Very
the White
true.
Sox are his hometown team.
Yeah, it's true. Peoria.
Yeah.
Man from Peoria.
So, you get why the White Sox are doing it as well.
Yeah.
We love Jim Thome here, but really Peoria is
it's his home.
It's his home.
His kids were probably born there. They might have been born here, but who knows?
No, they're all there.
Other legitimate ones.
Yes. What are you accusing Jim of?
Never would.
On that note, before Eric says any more blasphemous things about Cleveland or Cleveland sports or any of our legends, we're going to get out of here. You guys, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you here next week. I'm Gary. That was Eric. And like always, we love you all. And what you going to do when the Guardians run wild on you?
Yeah, go Guards.
Go Guards.